Good evening and welcome, friends. We are now on the 170th WiseViews Leadership Conversation, and we are joined by Dr. Kishore Indukuri. Please join me in welcoming him. Welcome, sir. Welcome to this leadership conversation.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
Thank you, sir. What we are excited about is that the way you have converted your passion into a very successful brand, and we want to know the journey. So that's the sum and substance of our expectation. I will do a brief introduction and then request you to start your opening remarks, sir. So please allow me to share my screen. As I said, these are WiseViews leadership conversations, which we hold typically every Friday, but owing to a busy schedule, we have taken a detour this week, only this week on Saturday. These we have been holding for the last several weeks, and we have reached 170th as of now. That's it, which is underway. So the topic for today's session is crafting a sustainable dairy brand, a journey of SITS Farm. This will be led by Dr. Kishore Indukuri. And this introduction and the presentation will be for the first 25 minutes. After that, we'll have the Q&A in two clusters. This is Dr. Kishore Indukuri, who is the founder and the managing director of SITS Farms, which is a company dedicated to delivering pure, unadulterated milk to households across Hyderabad and Bengaluru. Dr. Kishore, after earning a bachelor's degree in chemistry from the prestigious IIT Kharagpur, he moved to the United States, where he obtained a master's and a PhD in polymer science and engineering from the University of Massachusetts, Amherst. He then embarked on a corporate career at Intel Corporation in Chandler, Arizona, where he held roles like quality and reliability engineer, senior process engineer, and senior materials engineer for about 6 years. So in 2013, motivated to pursue his entrepreneurial passion, he returned to India and founded SITS Farm with the mission of providing families with pure, unadulterated milk. Starting with a small dairy farm and just 20 cows, SITS Farm has since grown into a 400-plus member team, serving over 50,000 households daily and supporting the livelihoods of more than 4,500 farmers. Pretty impressive. The company recently raised $10 million in Series A funding, setting the stage for further expansion. Dr. Indukuri's commitment to quality is unwavering. SITS Farm is known for its antibiotic-free, hormone-free, preservative-free milk. I repeat, antibiotic-free, hormone-free, and preservative-free milk, ensuring the highest standards through rigorous testing and promoting transparency and sustainability. Dr. Indukuri, as a leader in the direct-to-consumer dairy sector, is poised to make a significant impact on the Indian dairy industry. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much for agreeing to speak with us on this session. I will also take 1 minute to introduce my esteemed colleague, Dr. R. Prasad. He is the Senior Director at Academic Wing in the ICFAI Group. He brings to the table a rich experience of 3 decades. In these 3 decades, he was an entrepreneur, he was a corporate professional, as well as an academic now. He holds BTech from IIT Bombay and PGDM from IIM Kolkata. Thank you so much, Dr. Prasad, for joining. I'll stop sharing the screen here. And we are all set to hear from you, sir, your journey and the troubles and the travails and the promises that it holds for all of us. Thank you once again and welcome to you.
Thank you, Sudhakar, sir, for giving me this opportunity, first of all, to the ICFAI University, having me share this session. So I'll spend a little bit talking through a few slides. And after that, I think it'll be great to get any questions from the group here. Just give me 1 second while I share my presentation. So I'll talk about a little bit of my journey as I start walking through my slides. I grew up here in Hyderabad. My parents were from West Godavari and East Godavari districts of Andhra Pradesh, and we moved to Hyderabad. I was about 2 years old, and my father was an engineer at Mahindra and Mahindra Limited, and grew up near JNTU, lived there pretty much till I was 17. After that, I was able to crack through and get into IIT Kharagpur. I got into IIT in my second attempt. First attempt, I was not able to make it. So I got in my second attempt and spent 4 years there, 4 years studying. After that, like everybody else at that time, went to the US to pursue my master's along with a PhD, and then worked for Intel, as Sir just mentioned. And as I was working at Intel, I was looking at doing something exciting. The first 3 years of Intel was great. I was earning money. I was bought a house there. Some of the things that you would want to have, I mean, it was sort of getting fulfilled, right? And but I felt like I wanted to try a lot of things. Something was missing. And last 3 years at Intel, I jumped into a new role. Absolutely loved the new role, but this involved, we were in charge of putting together a $250 million facility. It was a group of small team of 25 people. And what I loved about, that new role was looking at a problem end to end, right? It was something that I loved. And as I was nearing 3 years of finishing in that role, I felt like I could do something back in India. I always wanted to come back. And, one fine day decided that this is our time, and moved back, sold our house that we had. And my wife Hima was a partner in crime. She, whatever I said, she was okay with it. So both of us, with our 1.5-year-old son at that time, we moved back to India, and that is how our journey of SITS Farm started. So what was, as we moved back, food and agriculture was something that that was close to my heart. I think all of us have, either our parents or grandparents that were into farming. So I thought farming would be great. Farming would be something that I could try. And that is how I started looking at, problem statements that I could be part of and solve, in agriculture and associated fields. Accidentally stumbled upon this problem. We were looking for good milk for our son Siddharth at that time. And we felt, when we looked around, when we looked at the market, we thought that there were not as many dairy brands that were into premium milk, natural milk, organic milk at that time. And if you look at the parallels with the US and the developed world, if you take the example of Whole Foods, Whole Foods was full of organic dairy brands, organic, food brands. And this was a parallel that we were seeing in the US then. So I thought, why not be part of this? And we wrote our problem statement. The problem statement, that India, right, 50 years ago or 60 years ago did not have enough milk, right, in 60s and 70s. And India solved this problem of quantity of milk. We have enough milk in the country now. But occasionally, all of us see these reports of there is some news about not so great quality of milk, adulteration of problem somewhere. Occasionally, you keep seeing these reports. Right? And we felt like, the quantity problem is solved. Can we be part of solving the quality problem? Right? And that is how our journey started. And we listed down all the issues. We saw that antibiotics misuse was a big problem. If you look at WHO reports, AMR is a big issue, right, around the world and also in India. And FSSAI did several surveys, and that was when the problem statement was clear to us. And what was our solution statement, right? I will just give a glimpse of what we arrived at finally, and then go through our story. So we started SITS Farm as a promise from a parent to a child, saying we'll produce the best possible milk, and that is what we deliver to families around us, right? And to this day, I mean, we started out as a small farm with 10 people, everything, and today we are a close to 450 plus people team, and all of us work on delivering on this promise to our customers. How do we make sure we look at the entire thing end to end to make sure we deliver on this promise? This is a promise just not from me to my son, but is a promise from all of us, the entire team. Team is a big part of what, how anything gets created, right? And I'll emphasize on how our team, how we together, delivered on this, how we deliver on this promise every single day. What do? We deliver 100% tested milk. That is how we drive depth in this. We make sure, there are no antibiotics, there are no preservatives, there are no thickeners, there are no hormones. We work with close to 4,000 plus farmers. I'll go through some of the details of that. We pay a better rate. We test. What do I mean by that? We test at least 3 times before that milk hits our factory. Then chilling is one of the most important things in milk. So also bringing milk to 4 degrees C is super important. I'll talk about that. And that is what we do. A lot of, and we're a new brand. Nobody knows about us. When we started this, nobody knew about us. How did we systematically work on this, right? See, why will our milk is also more expensive? Why does our customer pay us a little bit more money for the milk, right? So we try and tell our customers about the value. It is not about money, but it is about the value. Are you able to give that value to our customers? So we emphasize on this value through a lot of focused farm visits. For the past 5+ years, we have done farm visits every Saturday. Every Saturday, we bring customers to the farm. Today, we had about 60 people that came to the farm. Go through, first asking any questions that they have. It can be any question about milk. We start from there, then milking a cow, going through a tractor ride, looking at our grass growing operations, some of our grass growing operations. Then we walk them through their lab where we show them how we test our milk, the science behind the milk, and then walk through the processing facility. All of this to show customers the transparency, right? The promise, how are we delivering on this promise to you? And there's a lot of consumer education, right? This is dairy tourism that we do on a weekly basis, and this is how our customer stickiness and retention happens. And another thing that we started before D2C, direct to customer, became a buzzword. When we started Sid's Farm in 2013, we started with a direct delivery to customer doorstep and we do this via an app today. So just to go through our story, this is our first farm. This was a leased farm with 20 cows in close to Samshabad, close to Vardhaman Engineering and College. We leased a 24-acre farm, and this is how we started operations. All the initial knowledge that I gathered, right? I wanted to have a desire to do this. All the initial knowledge was talking to people, visiting few farms, and a lot of reading books, right? I bought a few books from, that were published by NABARD, went through it. I did not know how to select a cow. I talked to a doctor. He said, look at the beauty of a cow and buy a cow, right? I didn't know what beauty of a cow meant, right? So again, went to the books to see how to select a cow. And that is how my journey started. And I thought this was easy, right? So we assumed that, a lot of people advised me not to do it. I also assumed that I can do it. And then only when I got into it is when I realized how difficult dairy is. Dairy is something that you have to do 365 days in a year. There is no break, right? Because cows have to be milked no matter what. You cannot not milk a cow. And the first year, right? This is when we started doing is when really, no matter what research we did, our first Excel business model showed that as profitable, 30% profitable, 30% margin, 1.7 years is the capital recovery time, all great numbers when we put it on an Excel business model. When we started doing it in reality is when things hit us. 365 days in a year, no matter what, you have to milk the cows. People issues, animal health issues, productivity issues. We bought our cows. We were about to start selling, and then even after vaccination, FMD hit our farm, and the animal productivity dropped by 1/10. On top of that, the biggest issue, right, in 2013, when we first started, abnormally low rates for our cow's milk, right? 13 to 15 rupees is the max rate when we try to take this milk and sell it outside. This was what we got paid. Bring a crazy NRI who does not know anything about dairy farming. My cost of production was, close to 30 rupees. Out of survival, pure survival, we had to sell our milk direct to our customers. At that point of time, outside milk was 42 rupees a liter. I did not know enough. I priced my milk at 44 rupees a liter. That is how our business started. Started selling direct. Direct is no easy feat, right? Milk our cows. We would wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, 4 to 5 milking, 5 to 5:30. Initially, we started with stainless steel bottles, then figured out there are a whole bunch of issues with doing stainless steel, milk leaking out of them. Then we switched to, pouches. And so 5 to 5:30 was pouch filling. 5:30 to 6:30 was home delivery. Customers liked our milk. I'm talking about 30, 40 liters of milk when we started. Inquiries started coming in. We came to 100 liters of milk. And 4 became 330, little more increase. 330 became 3, 230. At one point, we were waking up at 1:30 in the morning, right? We were selling morning's milk in the morning, afternoon, evening's milk in the evening, right? So we were transporting milk 365 into 730 times in a year, right? We had accidents that hit us, whatever had to go wrong used to go wrong for us. Then our first step was, okay, no more hand packing works. we invested next in a foot operated packing machine, right? Foot operated packing machine took us from 100 to 200 liters of milk. At 200 rupees, 200 liters of milk, foot operated machine also started breaking down. Then we invested in an automatic packing machine. Still, reaching milk by 6 a.m. in the morning was no easy feat. After 1.5 years of doing this, right, waking up at 1:30 in the morning, I saw that if we do this, both our people as well as our animals would die if we do this rigor. That is when we invested in a mini pasteurization facility. Till then, I never thought about processing of milk ever, right? All I was looking at was doing raw milk. I was studying literature. I was studying, why, what is the primary purpose of mini pasteurization, and I felt like this is the time to invest in it. And also another major thing happened. I thought, some years of saving money in the US, I was a king. I had money to do anything in the world. But within 1.5 years of starting the business, all my money was over, right? I had 10,000 rupees in my bank account, 2 kids, a family of 4, a wife and 2 kids, 10,000 rupees, right? That is how tough, it became so quickly. Right? But then you see, one thing that, we never did was give up, right? We kept our head down and kept executing and started tweaking the business model, understanding this business. And as we were doing this, right, the customers amongst us, talking to us, we were getting some ideas. So we were, one time, a PhD scholar from Germany came and visited us. And, he talked about all the other business models in dairy that existed, saw our model. And this PhD scholar later became a professor at IMA, and Professor Ranjan Ghosh. He invited me to come speak at IMA, and he asked me to talk about value chain. I never understood what value chain meant, right? This was 2016, early 2016. And then I started reading about it as I had to go deliver a talk on that. So we started looking at our own business as we started reading about it. What were we doing as a company? One, we were producing raw milk. Second, we were processing and packaging it. Then the next step is obviously, now that you're packaging it, you also have to sell it. So we were marketing it. Saturday, Sunday, we would sit in communities, do sampling, tasting, and sessions in the communities. And if you do this, you also have to do the logistics and last mile, and also customers. So this was essentially, if you look at it closely, these were 3 separate industries that we were sort of trying to accomplish, right? So we started to look at, what is our core area of expertise, right? Which area is our core, which area is probably something that would leverage other people's help. And so that is when, that is how we started, tweaking the business model. For the first 4 years of the business, I would answer every call from our customers, right? This was pretty intense activity. So 6 to 10 in the morning, I would get calls. Kishore, milk has not come. Kishore, milk, is 30 minutes late, 1 hour late. Again, evening, I would get calls. Tomorrow, I don't want milk. Tomorrow, adjust my package from 2 to 1. All of this. One great thing about directly talking to customers is the feedback is instantaneous, right? Any problem you have with the milk, customer would call and tell us. So we were tweaking, we were understanding. So one question I used to get consistently, Kishore, you're not there at the farm 24 hours, right? How do you know that your people are not adding water? This was the simplest of the questions that we used to get right, sometimes from customers. So I know that I knew that we had to solve this problem. It is not through trust. It is not only through trust that you have to provide, you have to give this. I had convinced myself that, we have to build processes here to make sure whatever we are writing on our packets, we deliver that. So I knew testing was super important, right? A process for testing. So we started understanding, when we were a single source farm, when we were one farm, this was okay, right? Now we felt like, raw milk, India has been producing great milk, for centuries. What goes wrong with that milk, right? We wanted to understand that, right? What could go wrong with our own farm's milk, right? How do we test it? So we started understanding, how does adulteration happen in the first place, right? Our own story, our own journey, if you look at it, we know that, when we started, we were getting paid very, very little money, because there is not enough money 99.8% of the farmers, so 99.9% of the farmers still don't do anything. Farmers are super good. But there is that 0.05% who might think that nobody is looking anyways at milk. Why don't we add something? So that is how thickeners get into milk. The basic testing machine around the world for milk is an ultrasound sensor. It's a small sensor you dip in milk. The sensor will tell you whether the milk is thick or thin. Because it is an ultrasound sensor, it does not know why the milk is thick or thin. That is how thickeners like sugar, salt, urea, sometimes starches can get into milk. Another adulteration that probably also happens is milk fat, which is super expensive, gets replaced with vegetable oil. Right? All of these are thickeners. Right? Fundamentally, there is not enough price for milk. So thickeners get into milk because we are not testing enough. So we knew that we had to test for it aggressively. We started developing initially we used National Dairy Development Board kits to test some of these parameters. But as we started testing more and more, the kit would get over in a day. The kit was 4,000 rupees. So I said, okay, I used to be a chemistry guy once, I can solve this problem. A lot of people, when I started dairy farming, used to ask me this question. Kishore, what is the purpose of all of your education? Right? Because you did that, you studied, you have a bachelor's, you have a master's, you have a PhD, and now you're doing dairy. I didn't have any answer to give them at that point of time, right? But now when people ask me, the purpose of education is to problem solve, right? Any problem that gets thrown at you, if you're able to solve that, that is the purpose, right? If you have a systematic way of solving for that problem, that is the purpose of education. So any problem that got thrown at us, we converted that into an opportunity, right? There's still a lot of problems for us to solve, but I'm confident that, when we work on it, we'll be able to figure out solutions. So we started developing these regions ourselves. So we went to Abbott's, bought all the chemicals. FSSA is super great. It tells you exactly how to test for each of these adulterants, right? And we just did that. Any high school, this is basic high school chemistry. We started developing all of these regions. We test for at least urea, sugar, salt, melamine, starches, hydrogen peroxide, caustic soda, baking soda, formalin. All of these tests we have developed ourselves, right? These are 5 to 10-second color change tests that we've developed to screen for this. Second most important thing, milk is food for us, milk is food for bacteria. And the only good way of preserving milk is by chilling it. So if you chill milk on time, milk will stay naturally good for 7 to 10 days. Right? If you can chill milk immediately to 4 degrees, this is super important in milk. If you do this, you get to great milk. And second, not enough support and education in antibiotics. If you test, educate, chill milk, we believe whatever milk our Indian farmer is producing today is already the best milk in the fold if we solve these few issues. And that is what we started focusing on. Farmer has been producing milk. If you introduce these protocols, if you introduce these processes, we can get to the best milk in the world. And that is what we started doing systematically. Right? We spend close to 7 lakhs a month only on antibiotics testing. No customer has asked us to spend so much money. We felt this is the testing that is needed to make sure we deliver, on our promise to our customers. And that is what we do. So, from some of the learnings, this is the current business model that we operate. We work with close to 4,500 farmers. We operate 8 bulk milk chilling centers. And right in the villages, we also operate about close to 20 instant milk chilling centers right in the villages. The idea here is get milk as close to 4 degrees C as possible. And in the 40-liter can, all of the milk that comes from our farmers has to be tested. This is how we get there. Can level testing, we test for thickeners, preservatives, antibiotics, and hormones. 5 different antibiotics, 2 different hormones. We do an average of, I listed down 6,500 tests per day. We do an average today of around 10,000 lab tests every day. Scalable, more milk we get to, these tests can easily be scaled. Our production facility, we have 2 production facilities right now, one in Hyderabad, in Shabad. A second one facility has also recently come up. This is in near Tumukuru in Bangalore. We do close to 50,000 liters of milk from both the facilities together. Deliver to about 25,000 customers. The channels that we operate primarily is D2C. Second, we are also available on all the marketplace apps like Zepto, Instamart, Swiggy, Instamart, Blinkit, Big Basket, Milk Basket, and all the other apps. We're also present in about 500 retail stores in Hyderabad. The primary channels, though, that we operate are our own D2C through the app as well as e-com. Because we do this, like I just mentioned, these are the 3 channels that we operate. So just to summarize some of the journey, 2000 to 2016 has been an experimental thing where we were trying to demonstrate to ourselves whether this could work or not. 2016, we registered SITSFARM as a private limited company, raised a bank loan, and started building together, bought our own piece of land, and started building a processing facility. Initially started with cow's milk. As feedback from customers came, we also introduced buffalo milk and then started introducing more products along the way. Starting from 2020, we started establishing BMCs. Initially, we started with a pen and paper system, then an Excel to track customers. We started using Excel, then used a SaaS software. In 2020, we started developing our own. Starting 2020, we started developing our own tech and slowly moved all of our customers onto our own app from 2021. And 2023, end of 2023, early 2024, we also launched our second city, Bangalore operations. And we've got great support from our customers that we've been able to scale up our volumes of milk year on year. And just to give a sense of the market, right? India is the largest milk producing country in the world, and we drink almost all of it. We export very little outside. Most of the milk gets consumed in India. 2 things, 3 or 4 great things that are happening. Only 30% of the milk in India is organized. It is rapidly getting, the dairy industry itself is getting rapidly organized. In the next 7 years, Government of India predicts that this 30% will become 50% organized. A second thing that is also happening is premiumization is also happening. Every metropolis consumes about 50 lakh liters of milk on average. Hyderabad is about 50 lakhs. Bangalore is a little more. Out of that, premium milk market is another 10%. And that is what, as per capita income is growing, people are more quality conscious, the demand is growing. So we feel, there's a 5 lakh liter premium milk market in every major metropolis. And that is what we are currently focusing on. And one of the biggest things that, we realized, right, how do we work with our farmers? There's a lot of work. We have a close to a 50+ team that works in the villages to make sure we produce the best possible milk. So we help them get loans, and very close. We recently started a model, which I'll talk about. We run 3 model dairy farms, 1 Desi cow milk farm in Shabad, and 2 model farms, one in Vanaparthi district, second one in Kosgi district of Telangana. This is where our buffalo model farms are located, in Vanaparthi and Kosgi. Our idea behind having these model dairy farms is this is where we learn, and any farmer wants to come see the practices, they can come learn from here. And we started building dairy farm dairypreneurs, dairy farm franchises, where we say if any young entrepreneur is interested in producing milk, we own the P&L for them on behalf of them. What do I mean by that? We work with them to make sure their dairy farm becomes profitable. We offer them up to 1 year of free medical service to support them. Our team, we have a 2 people veterinary doctor team along with 4 paravet team that goes out to these villages, work with these dairypreneurs to get them to profitability, right? So their entire costing, P&L, we run it, right? What is the veterinary care? How much milk came today? All of that entire sheet, we run it for them. This is a program. We have 15 dairy farms like that are part of this network now. We intend to, in 1 year's time, we want to take this 15 to 250 farms, right, where a farmer is able to start making at least 25,000 rupees, in his own village, and then eventually take it to up to 50,000 rupees, right? We believe unless we do this, right, we won't be able to long-term produce great milk, right? And we want, and this is one of the programs that we do. And, some of the recognitions that we got, we got the Managed Samunati Best Agriculture Startup Award in 22 for Telangana State. TV9 SAP Agri Startup Award. We also got 3 DTC Startup Awards in 23. We're also recognized as the top 3 players in premium dairy space in India today. So I'll stop here and take any questions. I know I went slightly over, I think, but I'll stop here and take any questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Great. That was a great presentation, and to the extent possible within the constraints of time, you have talked about the journey. And there are many interesting things that it has thrown up. Of course, we will capture that during the Q&A. More importantly, I think your mantra of test, test, test is very interesting. And also dairy tourism that you have initiated, your open, we usually call it generally in open houses that happen in the corporates. Yes. But then you have taken that into your factory or your wherever the center that you are inviting them is a good platform for them to raise questions, and then that builds in a lot of trust, and then so much of endorsement that comes out of these personal interactions, and then you can take it viral, which I'm sure you guys are doing. I have seen your social media handles as well. So this is an amazing story and a great success brand that you have built with a lot of efforts. But in flat 10 years time, this has come where it has come. I think it is now time for a good question and answer session. I request all the members in the audience to raise their hands. They're already raising, but you'll have to wait till the cluster number 2 when I come and open the mic. Some of the interesting individuals who have joined today are from various walks of life. They are from technology, they are from media, they are from academics, pure academics, they are from restaurant industry. We are joined by very good individuals who have shown interest in this talk. I welcome all of them once again. And sir, we are now all set for the Q&A. I request Professor R. Prasad to start the Q&A. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for a wonderful introduction to what is really India, something that India really needs. From chemistry to milk to chemistry of milk, chemistry in milk. I think you have positioned it for your background, and you have identified your core area pretty well. You also mentioned about the purpose of education being problem solving. Absolutely spot on. So lots of good things in that. I'll straight away move to the first question. So you have chosen I would rather say you built your model. I mean, when you went in, you did something, then you looked at what is happening outside, you done a lot of reading, and then you decided that you will be in the core part of it, which is about the quality side of it, and then you put things in place in order to do that. You're also, of course, looking at the other parts of the supply chain, the value chain, in order to do that. Now, you are, from your figures, it looks like you do about, 16 lakhs a day or something like that in terms of 16, 17 lakhs a day in terms of revenue. Am I right? Right?
Close to 40 lakhs of revenue.
40 lakhs a day.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is a big market, a lot of players. How do you distinguish yourself going ahead?
So one of the fundamental, right, the value that I talked about, right, the value that we provide to our customers. Our milk is more expensive, right? Probably about 25 to 30% more expensive than regular milk. It is not only about differentiation, but also about clearly giving that value to our customers. Why should a customer pay me 25% more than some of the established players and buy my milk? So clearly the value prop, right, that I deliver, you don't have to worry. If you have 1,000 rupees more to be able to give me, I will give the assurance, we will give you the assurance that your milk will never ever have an antibiotic in it. Today, our customer feels that there is enough value in what we do. That they see that guarantee, right? That any single day, never ever there'll be this in the milk that you get in your milk packets. If you, for example, go outside and today eat, a family of 4 eats outside today, it probably is anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 rupees is what it would cost you to go and eat outside. Our extra price that you pay for us is only that, is probably about 900 rupees or 1,000 rupees. This is extra, per month for an entire subscription of the month. So if you can show them that value, right? This is why this education is super important for us. The customers come see, why we are so particular about, what is the value. If you can do that, I think people are willing to, give you this money. And that is how we grow our customer base. We've always grown organically. We spend a little bit of money on digital channels now, but we've grown organically through word of mouth in all the initial years. And to this day, also a big part of our acquisition is, customer acquisition happens through word of mouth.
Excellent. I think that's a fantastic model, the right model. I'm very happy that, you have 450 members in the team. And how do you, just to supplement your response to this question, how are those 450 members organized for that value, differential value that you want to give?
So basically we start with, for example, the entire engagement with farmers is something that we call, procurement of milk, procurement, and also the extension that we do with farmers. So there's a team that heads that. Second is a liter of milk going through the factory and coming out of the factory. So this is essentially the entire production. Right, there is a 100 people team, including the lab, that manages this entire production. Then once the milk hits the cold rooms, from there this milk reaching the end customer, into the customer hands, right? There is a 500 plus people delivery partner team that is delivering milk direct. So there's a team to manage this, right? And then the marketing teams, there's a growth team, there's a marketing team, and human resources to manage all of that. This is what constitutes the 400 plus people team that we have.
Thank you. I see a lot of what you call that agile learning in what you say. A lot of what you've said, there's a lot of agility in what is getting done, and I'm sure that will help you achieve the dreams that you have on this project.
Thank you, sir. A lot to do, sir. This is, we've hardly, I know you've used the word successful. You're not yet successful, sir. There's a long way for us. This is, agri and agile activities, sir, is an area that can cause tremendous impact, right? A few years ago, when I first, imagine that we have so many people in our, this thing. I never really looked at it that way. But the amount of impact that in agri dairy industry, the amount of people that you touch, right, is immense, right? That is the beauty of it. The number of vehicles, the number of transport, logistics providers that it supports, overall farmer ecosystem much larger. There's a lot of impact that gets created, in these ventures. So that is also the responsibility we have on our shoulders today. So make sure we grow this, we do this well, and make this and make sure that this keeps going forward.
Excellent. I think right now the political discourse in the US is also about how the food chain can be made healthy. And I think you're focused on that in what you're doing without anybody having to tell you. And that's excellent. A couple of other questions, sir. We are at about 7:15. So the first one is, what is in your experience the relationship between price and quality? Because you could have increased it more, you could have kept it lesser, 10%, you said 25%, it could have been 30-40%. So what are the dynamics underlying this?
Sir, a friend of mine last year gave me a book on pricing by, I never knew, how to price. I never knew how to price my product. So when I first started, I priced it at 44 rupees. Whatever we sell at close to 80 rupees today, our cow's milk, we started at 44 rupees. And within the first 6 months of, me doing it, I realized that, 44 is not going to work for me. So I wrote a letter to our customers, and said, hey, please help us. This is not working out for us. And, if we are honest and transparent with our customers, help always came, right? Our customers almost always, right? I should not use the word almost. always helped us, right? In our journey, in whatever we are doing, the support always came from them. So in first 6 months, I realized that it was not going to 44 became 55. All the customers stayed with us. So I think we communicated, why, if it was something was not working out, I didn't have any other sources of money. This was the only source of money, my money, and whatever we loaned from the bank. So whenever it was not working out, the business model needed a little bit more money. The pricing was not right. We wrote to our customers, and that is how we arrived at the price. That is how we got to this price. And in spite of being a 25% more expensive, right? There's still very little margins because the costs are very high. Right. If you look at a regular dairy industry for our scale, probably runs at less than 1/4 the people. Less than 1/4, maybe 1/4 the people is what a regular dairy industry of this size would do. So our costs are high, our efficiencies are low because the factory efficiencies probably you get good factory efficiencies when you have a little bit more space. So and second, when we are doing quality milk, sir, we have several constraints. For example, every day we keep a buffer of milk, right? Because if one test fails, right, our customers still expect milk tomorrow in the morning. I cannot say, hey, one test failed tomorrow and I won't deliver to you, right? In the beginning, we came back to the farm. I used to come back to the farm, take the help our team. We would milk the cow a third time and deliver that 4 or 5 liters of that we fell short. And we used to redeliver. Now it is not possible anymore, right? So we always maintain a buffer, and that buffer we sell at a loss, right? So there are multiple reasons why. And when we say buffalo milk, it is only buffalo milk that we do. When you do cow's milk, it is only cow's milk. Never ever, we supplement with anything else. So because of this, our costs are high. We always maintain a buffer, and that buffer we have to sell it outside at a loss. The reasons our margins are still very, very low. Right. So with scale, as we build this, they will get better. So that is the reason for our pricing. Our buffalo milk is one of the priciest products, but we still don't make money on buffalo milk, right? And we are working on it. The long term, we are optimistic on some of the numbers how this will evolve, but there are still challenges that we have to supplement.
Excellent, sir. I think this is one of the reasons why I made that mistake when I told you about your turnover daily, because you have moved up to 85. Wonderful. Actually, our boss, the founder of this institution, Yashasvi, Njay Yashasvi sir, should tell us that price is a discovery.
Yes, sir.
And if the customer starts trusting you,
yes, sir,
then you have that much more scope because you're putting in a lot of hard work that in the testing part and the other value chain parts that perhaps others are not, and the customers are willing to accept. And I think you're validating that.
Yes. So we want to provide to the customer what he is looking for, sir, whatever it takes, right? I mean, I'll tell you one example, sir. We do buttermilk, for example, but in buttermilk we add spices. Every day when we do buttermilk, we grind our curry leaves, we grind our ginger. We've never ever used a flavor, right? We never used naturally, whatever flavors have we never used. We've stuck with whatever is naturally available. It actually adds a lot of time, lot of people in making that, because every day the chili is of a different kind, right? The pungency of chili or the strength of chili is different every single day. You have to match it every single day. Takes a decent amount of effort. We have not done certain products because we cannot do that without adding either some stabilizers or so. We have not launched those products, right? But we believe in delivering natural, clean stuff to our customers, and that is what we deliver, whatever it is the cost, because we believe customer is willing to pay if we can show them that is what we are doing.
Excellent, sir. Just a question out of curiosity: how do you price your buttermilk?
So 20 rupees for I think I forget the volume, sir, but one pack it's priced at 20 rupees.
I think given the development of the industry, these are all a lot of value chain propositions that you can understand, discover, and try out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'll take one more major question before I hand it back to Professor Rao. And this is about this dairy farm franchise.
Yes.
And I'm very happy to hear that you put some goals for the income that your farmers need to make. And we had one of our other webinar speakers again into agriculture from Nasik. who runs a company, who also said the same thing. We want our people who are delivering to us to earn this sort of an income,
Yes.
which is there. Now, how do you see this journey happening? I mean, what are the unit economics of this journey?
So we're doing this discovery along with the farmers as we speak, right? So we have um, each farmer is different. He has few natural strengths, right? Water availability is better with one farmer. He has land with grass already available. There are a few strengths that he's already developed, and we have some fresh apprentices as well. So we're building this thing with the first 15 farmers. As we build this, we're also building our own model dairy farms, right? We are making that work. So the learnings, different types of grasses, what can be grown at the lowest price points to be able to sustain each of these. All of that, the structure is evolving. Few of these farmers are already profitable. So every week when we run this farm visits, we have about 4 to 5 dairypreneurs, right? 4 to 5 people, right, from different walks of life who want to get into dairy farming. So want to see how these models work. So that is what we are trying to do. Anywhere there is interest, we are working with them to start these farms and get them to profitability, sir. I mean, because we have the price in our hands, right? What do I mean by that? See, if a particular price point is not working for a farmer, now we are seeing this face to face, right? Can we enhance the price point while improving the productivity, right? What is that price discovery? At what price point does a cow milk farmer make money? What price point does a desi cow milk farmer make money? At what point does a buffalo milk farmer make money? We have 3 different types of farmers. So each of these things, for cow milk, we know the numbers. At this price point, between this rupees to this point, we knows his more money. So any more than that, the idea is if a farmer can make, between, 10 rupees is a great price point. 10 rupees per liter if he's able to make, that's a super price point, right? 5 rupees is a super solid number for a farm to sustain, right? After all costs, if he's able to make 5 rupees per liter, if you can drive that up to 10 rupees by increasing the productivity, I think good numbers can be. So we're working on all the things in the chain, sir. The pricing is one that we have. Second thing is feed. Genetics of the animal, super important, sir. Unless the genetics of the animal is good, they won't produce great. The volume of milk will not be there. Feed alone will not give volume of milk, right? Genetics also has to be good. So identifying, working with the animals that they have, how do you systematically improve the genetics? This is a longer term exercise. So you have to work on each of these to ultimately drive the profitability of these farms.
Fantastic, sir. I see a lot of your strengths playing out. You're a scientist, and I see a lot of issues, problems that you've identified to solve out where your scientist, your scientist capabilities will be needed, your chemistry capabilities will be needed. I also see that you're getting into personalization. You talked about farmers who have different strengths and different types of things that they use. So, you're kind of trying to build up patterns as you go along and see, what category of farmers got this background, what they should do in order to reach that. The third thing that I can find is that typically, from the guys in economics, we hear that these guys earn between 5 to 10,000 a month, very meager. And you're talking about right now 25,000 moving up to 50,000. I think it will be a great thing if this happens.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Because this is the passion which drives you. I can very clearly see that. I've met others also in this line, and I mean that's fine. I see the economics there, but your kind of process and passion that you're talking about, the kind of issues that you identified, they have been very different. Thank you very much. I hand it back to Professor Rao.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much. It's an interesting conversation that's going on, and we are left with some more time, but let's see how long we can pull this. I give priority to the questions that are going to be asked by those who have raised their hands. But much before that, I have a couple of questions. Dr. Kishore, how this model is slightly or fundamentally different from that followed by AML?
Depth is what we are going and getting into, sir. See, how deeply will we work to make this happen is what we are working on. We have some interesting models also that would be coming up, sir, in how to build this ecosystem, right, of how to create this great quality milk, right? How do we take it further? Great models. Our model is fundamentally creating this, working, driving the depth, with each farmer, drive them to profitability, while working with them on their P&L, and driving the depth of testing, driving the depth of focus and testing. That is how we are getting to great quality milk and milk products. That is what we do. Depth is right. How deep we go into it and deliver that. This thing is how we do it, sir.
So it's the depth and your involvement into actually delivering value. That's what is going to differentiate. Amazing, and I think it is equally being well communicated to the target customer. So I can see that very clearly happening. Layman's kind of a question, that is, how do we know that a milk is not adulterated? That is at the customer level. See, at a supply chain, supply side restrictions and adherence to quality is well demonstrated, and you are also doing all that's possible to do.
Yes.
But how do you democratize the ability to test it at the customer level?
So there are few basic things that are available for you to test, sir. So the few basic tests. So for example, something like an antibiotic test, definitely this is something that you cannot see, something that you cannot smell. This is something that has to be done at a lab level. So this is something, unfortunately, today you cannot detect through any easy techniques. Some basic tests, if you are sensitive, then you can pick a lot of things to taste and smell, sir. But after taste and smell, taste and smell alone, this is, you hit one right point, sir. Most people associate quality with thickness. Right, how thick or thin the milk is, chikkadanam in Telugu, right, or gada, jud kitna gada hai. Usse, this is how you think about quality, right? So we're trying to push this and say it's not just thickness, but beyond thickness, right? Things that you cannot see. Right? How do you make sure that there are no preservatives? How do you make sure that there are no few basic tests you can definitely through basic common tests, kits that you can test. Other things you have to do in a lab today to be able to do it. Idea is how do you get it to a level where anybody can buy these kits at a low enough cost. So even some of the advanced tests can be done in the future. So that is our endeavor also. For example, some of the antibiotic kits during COVID, we were super worried because all the kits used to come from China. Right, you ordered it from Europe, it still has to come from China, right? All the antibiotic strips come from China, right? So and they cost, right, each strip costs about 150 rupees, right? We when we talk to few universities, we were saying, hey, how can we produce it at 25 rupees in India? So these are things that will happen, sir, but somebody has to take that and take up that problem and help achieve that as well.
Sure, I think we have more problems to be solved.
Yes.
And if the purpose of education is to solve problems, I think we are calling many enthusiastic individuals to jump into this game. This entire value chain throws up so many challenges, so many pain points for us to solve. And I hope we resolve to address those pain points. I think there's a greater optimism for wannabe entrepreneurs to get into these things.
Yes.
Sir, the second question I have is, which breed of buffalo or cow that you started with? Even that's not important. What is important is, what's your advice? Which breed we should start with now?
Yeah. Great question, sir. So we do 3 different types of milk. First is cow's milk, which come from crossbreed cows. These are mixed breed of cows that are available. Second, we do buffalo's milk. Third, we do also desi cow milk. Desi cow milk comes from native Indian cows like Gir, Sahiwal. Right? Why do we do 3 varieties? Because this is what our customer is looking for. Right? Customer is looking for this choice. We also do cow curd, buffalo curd. We also do cow butter, buffalo butter, cow ghee, buffalo ghee, desi cow ghee. We offer this choice because this is what the customer is looking for. So in terms of productivity of the animal, crossbred cows are the most productive animals, sir, typically, right? And typically this is what the farmers want to do, because for them, for their effort, that is when they earn the most money. Buffalo, the next one in that list is buffalo, where if they are paid a little bit more higher price, buffalo is next in the list because of the next level productivity is buffalo. Last today, unfortunately, is desi cows, because desi cows still, we have to work on the genetics, we have to improve them. On average, they produce 6 to 7 liters of milk, sometimes lower. So that is why desi cow milk is typically the most expensive milk.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. Are there any forays into working on the crossbreed cows, because that's where the productivity is very high? Any backward integration in future that is planned?
So basically, there's a lot of work already done, sir, because on crossbreed cows. But the customer preference today, at least some customer preferences towards desi cows. So a lot of work has to happen with Indian breeds and developing them and enhancing their productivity. Similarly, for buffalo, improving the productivity also has to happen. European cows, for example, crossbred European cows, they already produce milk. It depends on how much is the genetic percentage. If you go above, 50%, of the European genetics, either HF or Jersey, the productivity is higher, sir. So there are also animals that exist.
Great, fantastic, sir. So what I'll do is I'll pause here for a while and take the questions from the audience who have raised their hands. Mr. Arun Kaul, please go ahead.
Good evening, Dr. Kishore. A very interesting discussion. Well, you're slightly touched on this, but I wanted to know what is the difference between buffalo's milk and cow's milk, and what would be your recommendation as to who should be drinking what and when should they be drinking which milk, I have, I don't know, the understanding I have is that we normally take buffalo's milk, and maybe it's for children, etc., that we think of cow's milk. I may be absolutely wrong. So I wanted your recommendation of
Yes,
who should be drinking what and when.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'll give a roundabout answer, sir, because there is no perfect answer. Sir, what we advise, right? We get this question in every farm event that we do. Whatever you've been used to, sir, milk fundamentally is produced by mother for its baby. So milk is general, it is a good source of nutrition. It's a complete nutritious food. So whatever you grew up with, sir, whatever, you've been used to, if you're comfortable with buffalo's milk, great, right? If you've had it, when you're small, I would definitely, you can go with that. If you grew up with cow's milk, great, sir. Both cow's milk as well as buffalo milk have what your baby needs, right? What our, kids need, what we need. If you feel you're not comfortable with milk, you can try the other. Both have what you need, sir. I'll add one point here. I'm just giving you a bunch of information for you to choose what you want, sir. If you look at cows and buffaloes, if you look at cows are typically a little more agile, right? They're more sensitive, right? As a species, they are that, sir, right? Buffaloes a little more lazy, right? So they say, that it translates into milk. We don't know. Can science measure it? Definitely not. But people say maybe, in Andhra and Telangana, Andhra, we have this, right? Cow's milk पीने से, पतले हो जाएंगे, buffalo milk पीने से, थोड़ा मोटा होंगे, right? Whether it comes from the animal, those we don't know, sir, because, but there's fundamental, there are two different species, right? But, both are okay, both have the nutrition. Buffalo's milk में थोड़ा और ज़्यादा fat है. Whatever you've been used to, I think is great, sir. Whatever your body, fundamentally, if you listen to our bodies, whatever our body is able to take it, that is what we would want you to go with, sir.
The myth that I've heard from my childhood is that that buffalo's milk is hard to digest versus cow's milk, which is easier to digest, and that's why it's given to children, cow's milk. Is there anything in this myth, or it's just a myth? I mean, there's nothing in it.
So whatever, see, if thickness is a problem, sir, you can always dilute milk at your home with a little bit of water and drink it. And I think that would solve that problem, sir. Okay. So we also have opposite people who cannot digest cow milk, but can digest buffalo milk without any issues. We definitely say, don't force it, sir. If your body is able to do it, great, right? Definitely, see, if you look at, I'll emphasize, if you look at a cow calf, right? It's super active. It's jumping like a deer. Buffalo is a little bit more laid back, right? So they say it translates into milk without without us really knowing it. I think I'll leave it there, sir. And
interesting.
Yeah, scientifically we cannot put a finger on it, but there are.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arunji, for that question. These are interesting dynamics that you pointed out, that the body dynamics of the source from where the milk is sought. But is it true that we have more buffaloes available than cows, at least in Hyderabad and Bangalore that you are dealing with?
It's fast going away, sir. See, one of the biggest challenges is to actually get to great quality buffalo milk, right? We put a lot of effort into producing great quality buffalo milk because it's vanishing, right? One, productivity is not as high as the crossbreed cows that we have today. Second, yeah, so genetics is not there, so not enough productivity is from it. So, yeah, so that is where the significant effort we put personally at SIDS Farm to get to great quality buffalo milk.
Thank you. I'll request Dr. Sanjay Yadav to raise his question. Okay, in the meantime, Anil Fernandez can take. Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Kishore. My question is, what's the one advice you would offer to someone who wants to enter this business? And when you have these various products, right, from the milk to the various product, what's the margin of business? What's the margin in this business?
So, I mean, generally, dairy itself is a slightly lower margin business. That is one, if you compare. So I would advise anything targeting 10 to 12% EBITDA is a great EBITDA margin in this business. The general dairy industry does, in milk does, between 2 to 5%. Products, they do higher margins. So average, it balances out to about 10%. In premium milk, because we've priced it, we again try and get the similar margin. But this is the margin that we aspire to get to, sir. Yeah, around 10 to 12% is a great margin. 12, if you can push it, improve the efficiencies, 12 to 15%. Yeah, it's a great business.
And my second part of the question was, what's the advice you would offer to someone who wants to enter this business?
So there are ways you can enter this business, sir. So first is market is super important, right? Where are you actually going to sell this product? Right, I would start from there, and then market, understanding the market. So anybody wanting to try this first, I what I offer, I ask them the money that they have in their hand. I say first invest this in marketing, right? Try and work with a farmer that you already know. Take his milk, see if you can sell it, because selling is super important, right? I mean, because if you can establish the market, then you can go back and add your own backend, not a problem. Today, if we want, we can go back and add our backend if we want to. See if you're comfortable in it. See, first 1.5 to 2 years, maybe, I was really not comfortable with the idea of selling, right? एक बार मैं दूध deliver करने गया था, क्योंकि our delivery boy was not available. The customer bell ring किया दूध देने के लिए, customer बोला रे दूध वाला है रे. तब तक मैं दूध बेच रहा था करके मेरे mind में पूरा sink in नहीं हुआ था. Right. See, I think, that is what we do. Super, so realizing that, can you sell? So selling is super important, right? And the customer is not buying your milk, he's actually seeing you, right? So if you can do that, if you can figure out selling, I think that solves a big important problem, right? And you can take it from there.
Figure out selling, or the potential to sell, or the ease or the art of selling, or the story to sell, and then I think the rest of the things can be worked out. But this is a very unusual response that you have given the fact that you have started the other way, in the sense that there's a passion that has driven you to establish something here, and then you have picked up a farm, and then slowly you raised from 20 cows to so many more now, and then probably along the way you have actually figured out how to sell it. But
Yes,
but I think to cut down all that, your advice is figure out selling. How does that work?
Reason for that is, a lot of people, right? See, if I want, whoever asked me this question, I forgot the name, to be successful, right? Because a lot of people jump in, put a lot of money into production first, right? I know dairy farms that put 10 plus crores, 20 crores of money into just building the dairy farm, putting a lot of money into infrastructure, and then figuring out later that they're not able to sell, right? It's important to figure out selling first. And also, the number of players that exist is quite high, right? So your value prop, are you able to demonstrate this value prop to your customer? I think it is, you get this out, right? So this helps you not burn a lot of money, right? So you figure out selling first, then, keep adding, right? This is how I would do it, based on whatever, knowledge I acquired now.
Amazing, sir. Amazing. Demonstrating a value proposition to the customer, I think it should begin there. And the sooner we build the ability to demonstrate that, the better it is for us, for the business. Amazing, sir. I'll now request Mr. Raghavendra Singh to raise his question.
Yes, sir. You want to start a capital fed business. So what type of feed you gives your kettles and what role play feed kettles in producing milk?
Okay. So first is genetics. So right animals is super important. Second is feed, as you absolutely pointed out, sir. So we experiment with, first, a lot of our grasses that we grow are super napiers. In addition to that, we are experimenting with a variety called Kumbu napier. So the reason for this is crude protein that is available in this grass is super important, right? If you're focusing too much on concentrated feed, today concentrated feed or dana is super expensive. So how much of the crude protein can you deliver through grass is important, right? How much lucerne can you grow? What is the crude protein net? Grass is cheap, dana is expensive. Try to bring the cost of grass as low as possible, the more profitable you are. So always before you start any dairy farm, 4 months before that, your grass should be there, sir, because it is easy to sell grass, tough to sell milk, right? So easy to sell grass today, right? There are super successful businesses that are selling kuti and grass today, right? So start with growing grass, at least 1 or 2 cuttings should happen. Make sure that, plenty of grass is available. Grass cost should be as low as the crude protein. If you can bring down the cost I would highly recommend the book by Hudson founder, sir. It's a biography that is written. There is an entire section that they devote Hudson work on procurement. They talk about this crude protein level, how to deliver.
Book name, sir?
Sir, I'm trying to remember. I can text it. If you look at Chandramogan, R. Chandramogan, sir, is the founder of Hudson. So his book, it is written by, another person, but it is an autobiography. It's their journey, Hudson's journey. Please, if you just Google it, I think
Okay, sir.
it will be available. The entire
Thank you,
section
sir.
on procurement, how they this crude protein that they're able to deliver at a low cost. Right, this is super important.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Great, sir. Great, sir. Thank you very much. I'll now request Dr. Digvijay Nair to ask his question.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I was keenly hearing you, the complete discussion. I have a very general question, more from environment protection point of view. We see all dairy companies, right? From big companies like Amul, Heritage, Nandini to Sit Farms also. They deliver their products only in plastic packets. Do we see sometime in future we come back to the bottle packs where the products are delivered in glass bottles? Because this plastic is also very harmful to the cattle animals, right, which are primarily in our first focus. So
Yes.
is it possible sometime, do you see a possibility of reverting back to the glass bottles? Earlier when we were kids growing up, the milk used to be delivered in glass bottles. I remember. Thank you.
Great question, sir. I'll take, I have 2 ways I'll try and answer this question. Sir, also, I don't know everything. So we're also systematically trying and improving what we know and what we can do, sir. I'll answer this question. See, first is the environmental aspect. We'll discuss it. So today, second is the health aspect of it, environmental and health aspect. It takes 650 grams of glass to deliver 1 liter of milk. It takes me 3 grams of plastic to deliver the same 1 liter of milk. So, I mean, I'll emphasize this number. The weight of glass bottle is 650 grams. It is taking me 650 grams to deliver 1 liter of milk. Same when I do it with a plastic pouch, I'm able to do it in 3 grams. I'm only focusing on the environmental aspect. So we actually burn a lot more diesel or petrol to deliver the same milk in glass as opposed to plastic. Because your crude oil is the same crude oil that is used to make your plastic is also the crude oil that comes as diesel or as petrol. So you're actually burning a lot more. If you look at the entire value chain, my delivery partner, if he delivers glass bottle, at the max is able to deliver anywhere from 40 to 60 liters because he has to carry his bag on his shoulder. Even if you put it on his bike, about 40 to 60 liters is what we can deliver. In plastic pouches, he's able to deliver a lot more. So if you look at just the environmental aspect of it, purely from how much resources that it uses in terms of crude oil, plastic clearly wins. Next important aspect is the health. So why are people worried about plastic? It is about the interaction between your plastic and the food that it carries. In our specific case, milk. In physics, there's a concept called glass transition temperature that we talk about, right? At what temperature does a material behave like a glass, and what temperature the material behaves like a rubber, right? This is the glass to rubber transition that we talk about. The same glass bottle, right? If you take it to 1000 degrees, it behaves like a rubber, right? It's just the temperature transition. So what happens when it becomes a rubber? It is when it is a glass, molecular mobility is 0. That means it's in a standstill state. There is no mobility. The molecules inside are not moving. So we expect that in a glass, there's no interaction between the glass because the molecules in the glass are not interacting with the food it is carrying. When you cold fill milk, right, in a plastic pouch, you're filling it at 2 degrees, right? Though it is not behaving like a glass, it is actually close to a glass, right? The molecular mobility is not 0 in a plastic pouch when you fill it at 2 degrees. We absolutely do not advise in a plastic pouch, never ever have hot tea in it, because it's at 70, 80, 100 degrees. It's definitely interacting, right? The polymer chains are all wiggling and trying to get out of your plastic polymer and interacting, actually getting into your tea or milk. But when you cold fill, the molecular mobility is still close to 0. Though plastic is not still the perfect solution, today it is a solution that delivers on some counts, right? The molecular mobility is still not 0, so it's still not the perfect material, but it is okay when you cold fill it, right? We still, we always want to look at an ideal solution that matches both these, right? That is light, right plastic, but where molecular mobility is 0, right? We don't have a solution. We are looking for it, but in some cases, plastic clearly wins, right? In terms of purely from an environmental plan. But in terms of microplastics that you're talking about, interaction between food and microplastics, there is work to do. Today, it is okay when you cold fill it. We definitely don't advise filling anything hot in plastic. But when you cold fill at very, very low temperatures, it is okay, not perfect, sir. We are still looking for that perfect solution.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll quickly take questions from Harsha. Over to you, Harsha.
Yes, sir. I have heard that in your presentation, you are working with around 8 bulk milk chilling centers. And are there your
Ours.
own?
We own them, sir.
There's middlemen.
We own them, sir. 8. So the way we work is we have 3 different types of milk. So desi cow milk farmers, there are no chilling stations. The chilling center is right in the farm, okay? Because these are larger farms, desi cow milk. We have 10 of those desi cow milk farms. The chilling station right in the village. Next, we have 2 cow milk chilling centers that are dedicated to cow's milk, right? And any village that is slightly far from this chilling center that we run, we put village level chilling centers, right? So if you come to our farm visits, we have a demonstration of this. The way this works is, as soon as you produce a can of milk, you close the lid of this stainless steel container and you put it inside this instant milk chilling center. Ice water comes and flows on top of this milk can and chills the milk down to 4 degrees, right? In a village, we assume that the power won't be there forever. So even if there is only 4 hours of power in a day, it generates ice water and stores it. And once you put the can inside, the ice water rotates around the milk can and chills the milk down. That is how these chilling systems operate. We have 15 of those. Our idea eventually, when we are running these milkpreneurs and dairy farms, is every farm should have its own chilling station. That is what we are driving to, sir. But these are large investments, right? I mean, as you can believe, we are present in about 180 villages. Every village has about close to 2 lakhs worth of investment. And then on top of that, every instant chilling system is another 4 to 5 lakhs. right? So these are, and the bulk milk chilling centers again are more, larger investments. So these are gradual, systematic investments that we do. The villages far, that is where the first bulk milk, that is where the first instant chilling system is going. And then eventually all farms that we operate should have a chilling station right in the farms. That is what we are trying to go to.
Great, sir. Great. Thank you very much. We have a restaurant consultant, Mr. Ravi Wazir. Ravi Wazir is a well-known, he's an author as well, and he advises restaurants, restaurant businesses, so on and so forth. He is here with a question. Can I request Ravi Wazir to open his mic and speak? Yeah, over to you, Ravi.
Yeah, no? Hi, Dr. Kishore. Thank you, Sudhakar. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Question
Yeah. So, Dr. Kishore, many thanks for your candid insights. Really loving the conversation. One of the things I do is try to understand the skills and attitudes and behavior of successful entrepreneurs. I know you're being very modest about your success, but I see you as super successful. And I'm trying to guesstimate from what you spoke so far and also from your LinkedIn profile. I think two things are your superpowers, in my view, as an entrepreneur. I want you to correct me or change that if you think it's different. One is process engineer, and engineering is your background, and also technology, and these two are very powerful in the kind of business that you're running. So would you say that these are two important things which have helped you in your journey? I mean, in your own personal traits. I know that your team would be augmenting many skills, but I'm referring to you specifically, sir.
People, sir. The single most thing, why, I've been nice to my people, and they've been 10 times more nicer to me in what they help build for us, right? Today, if you look at our spectrum of people, we have super motivated people who've taken whatever's, in my own thing, a small, that day. See, I never dreamed of building a large thing. My initial idea was, fight मार के 1 लाख कमाएंगे, पेड़ के नीचे बैठेंगे, have a happy life ever after was what I started this with. But the kind of people that came, right? We worked with anybody that came, right? But people with intent is what we look for, right? We definitely look for anybody who has tried a business, right? If it doesn't work out, if people have those traits, right? If they were founders once, I definitely jump to hire those people, because taking responsibility, I think this is one skill that India, I feel, lacks, sir. The general set of people that we hire, right? We feel that, they've not been taught how to take large responsibilities, right? And especially when we hire people with that founder sort of a mentality, this skill comes naturally, right? So I think people make with a strong intent, trying to make a difference. Those are the people that we look for. And one thing that ek bar hamare farm mein there used to be this guy. One problem that happened to us early on is, ek din we had a labor shortage, nobody was there. Tomorrow morning we didn't know how we would milk our cows, and that time we asked for help, sir. We talked to the villagers and asked them, after you milk your cows, can you help come and milk our cows, right? And to my surprise, right, from the village, they came and milked our cows before they milked their cows, right? And after that, we never had a labor issue after that. It became an opportunity for us. But, that guy, one of the guys who came and milked for us told me one thing. He used to also work in the farm. He said, "Sir, kabhi gali nahi dete." The value of respecting people, right? We don't, be nice to people, they return it back, super back, right? These are few things that I want to add. Process all of that, I don't know, sir. Maybe my people. We have had great team, right? We have, Divideep, Tamal, Vamsidhar Reddy, all the people I can name, Ajay, Shiv Shankar, all the great team that we have, amazing work. We have actually more non-dairy people than dairy people in our, see, I'm also a non-dairy guy. Now we look at dairy with a different set of lens, right? That has been another thing. We've been also looking at, so we try and bring in as many outsiders also in the industry. We have, Divideep, who came from Mercedes in Germany. He, spent 8 years there. He headed operations for close to 3 years in our factories. Our current head of factories is Seshuji. He was with GSK for 30 plus years. So we try and build a lot of non-dairy guys and see how we can do dairy differently, learn from outside the field also.
Thank you, Dr. Kishore. For me, ironically, that's been a similar answer in some of the interviews I've had, that people are the secret sauce. And so delightful to hear that you are trying to get them to be entrepreneurs in your business. So thank you for that answer.
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you, Ravi. Thanks for that question. Sir, before we go to the last stage, I have a couple of questions, and we have Apurv Bhatnagar, who is actually raising his hand. Apurv, would you like to go ahead and ask the question quickly?
Yeah, sir. Thank you for giving me chance. So, sir, as you know, there is a big market for this milk product. Like Amul is also there, and in fact, there are local dealers also there, like Saras, which is really famous in Rajasthan. So, how did you start to capturize the market, and at what price did you differentiate it from that product?
सर हम लोग कंपटीशन और मार्केट को नहीं देखे सर, टू बी ऑनेस्ट, राइट. हमारा था कि पहले हमारा 20 लीटर बेचना है, उसके बाद थोड़ा और एनिमल्स लेके आया, नेक्स्ट 100 लीटर्स बेचना है, नेक्स्ट 300 लीटर्स बेचना है. दैट इज हाउ इनिशियली मेरे को आई डिडंट हैव सेंस ऑफ स्केल सर. स्केल बिजनेस में सुपर इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. आई डिडंट हैव अ लार्जर सेंस. all we were looking for, हमारे डेयरी फार्म का दूध कैसे बेचेंगे. दैट इज हाउ वी स्टार्टेड इट, बट स्लोली रियलाइज दैट स्केल इज इंपॉर्टेंट. बट so generally we get this question, sir. So my typical answer is, we stand in India today on the shoulders of large giants, right? Amul is a large giant, Mother Dairy is a large giant, NDDB, Heritage, Vijaya Dairy, normal large cooperatives, right, across India. I have not mentioned many cooperatives, but large dairies. ये लोगों ने India में 50 years पहले there was no milk in the country. Thanks to all the dairy giants today, we have enough milk. अभी इसको पुश करके, बाउंड्री पुश करके बेस्ट मिल्क करना है. गांव में हम लोग जैसे दूध पीते थे वैसा दूध डिलीवर करना है कस्टमर को. इसमें डेप्थ बिल्ड करना है. दैट इज व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू अलोंग विद ऑल ऑफ देम, राइट. ऑल द डेयरीज आल्सो हैव द सेम एंडेवर. आवर गोल. सो हम लोग कंपटीशन के बारे में दें, हमारा दूध को बेस्ट कैसे करना है. दैट इज ऑल, राइट. हाउ डू वी डिलीवर द बेस्ट, हाउ डू वी प्रोड्यूस द बेस्ट, हाउ डू वी गेट देयर. कंपटीशन इज इंपॉर्टेंट, बट दैट इज नॉट द फोकस जनरली, राइट. हम ये मॉडल को कैसे इनोवेट करते हैं. आप जहाँ पे राजस्थान में व्हाट विल वर्क, right? Your customer base ko what will work, how will you sell it. We have to figure that competition, we have to learn from them, right? What others are doing, absolutely we have to learn, sir. There is no point reinventing some of the things. But if you're able to, if you want to do something, if you want to do this badly, if you like this, then I think you'll be able to figure out, right? Up intent laga ke you sit on this, you'll be able to make it happen, right? So I specifically don't look at competition. Obviously you have to look at competition, right? But that is not the drive. How do you deliver the best? How do you deliver the best value to your customers? How do you communicate the better? If you figure this, if you work on this, baaki the questions will get solved automatically, is what we believe in, sir.
Great, sir. Great. Wonderful answer. I think that's perhaps one of the best suggestions that has come across. I think whether it is Rajasthan or Jaipur or any other territory, you need to understand from the competition, obviously. But if the focus is on delivering the best, then the rest of the things you have to figure it out, and you'll be there for long to actually deliver that proposition. Fantastic, sir. I have some silly questions. They are like this. I have not understood the entire product basket. What all different products that you have apart from milk in your basket currently?
Sir, we do cow curd, buffalo curd. So for people who like buffalo, thick curd, buffalo curd is there, sir. We also do cow curd separately. Cow curd is just from cow's milk.
Yeah, there's a small glitch there. I think we'll have Dr. Kishore Indukuri joining us again. We were on the question of the product basket of Sid's Farms at this point in time. He was answering that there is milk and there is curd, and I heard some time back that there's also buttermilk. So we also understand what is the product strategy that he has envisaged for the near future. Once Dr. Kishore joins, he'll be able to answer that question, but still hang on. We have a couple of questions and then we are wrapping it up. And in this conversation so far, what we have understood is that there's a great deal of detail that one has gone into. The detail of making an enterprise successful. It calls for a lot of attention. I think that's what Dr. Kishore has focused on. Whatever we have learned, we have to not only unlearn in one way, but we need to redeploy those skills, especially the little bit of chemistry. Those who have really mastered chemistry can only say that they can use high school chemistry to solve a problem. Once I was talking to Sonam Wangchuk, and he said, I use high school science to bring up small innovations, and I solve problems of nature and environment here. And he was demonstrating those things. So in the similar way, I think Dr. Kishore, after studying chemistry and after mastering that, and after addressing a problem, he can say that he has used high school chemistry to address a problem. Good, sir. Welcome back. And the question was about product basket and product strategy that you have.
Sir, we started with simple yet differentiated products. For people who prefer only cow curd, we do cow curd. We also do something called a probiotic curd. Then we do cow ghee separately, buffalo ghee, desi cow ghee. Typically, for people in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, people who prefer white butter, white vennapusa, right? It is typically not available in the market. We produce that from, buffalo. We also have cow butter. White makkan, right, that comes from buffalo is typically not available in the market, sir. So we produce that. So first set of products are simple, clear, differentiated products. The next set of products that we are developing, so we also have a new product team that works on products. Anything that you can do along with milk, that you can consume along with milk, for example, something that you can add to milk, right? We're developing some of those other products as well. Something, can you add something to milk? Can you make the milk richer? Clean, neat ingredients, few ingredients, right? We're also developing mixes, milk mixes that will enhance milk. And these are things that we are working on and developing.
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic. Thank you very much for the detailed product. So we see a lot of times in the retail chains that we go across, especially Ratnadeep or various other formats that we see in the country, is that there is this probiotic milk, Yakult. How is that, and is that a big market? How is it doing, and would you like to do that, or should we consume that product or not? Please help us understand all that, sir.
Yes, sir. So basically, all of these are, there are a lot of innovation that is happening in dairy products. So for example, the big thing that is coming out of Amul is focus on protein. In dairy, how can we do a lot of protein, right? For example, their milks, they're emphasizing protein. India is starting to consume a lot more protein, right, than before. This is only going to increase. So protein is one differentiation that is emerging, sir. Second, probiotics. There's a lot that is going to emerge. Yogurts, sweet yogurts that people have as desserts, that is emerging. Cheese as a market is developing, right? So certain, trends that are, emerging out of this. How you do each of these? Yakult started outside India, made a big name there. Now they're selling it in India. So, delivering more probiotic, good bacteria. Curd itself is probiotic, but you're, putting a lot more probiotics in your curd that helps your gut, and that is what is the focus. And there's a lot of room for all of these innovations. We, our focus has been, even as we innovate, still keep it simple, right? We don't want to make this complicated. We want to keep it as natural as possible, and that is how we want to do this.
Is it milk itself probiotic?
Curd is definitely more probiotic, sir. So basically, milk is water, natural water, plus, we say magic, right? Magic is all the solids, right? You have fat, which your brain needs for development, which is super important for your body, fat. Next is you have carbs, you have proteins, you have all the vitamins and minerals, right? And in addition to that, there is life, right? You don't drink milk just for nutrition, but there's also good life present in it, right? This is the bacteria, right? This is what creates the multiplicative effect, right? And when you ferment it, make it into fermented products like curd, yogurt, you're you're creating much more multiplier effect, right? I think that is the direction you're going. So, Ayurveda also says buttermilk is actually better than, your milk, or, curd is better than milk, right? So this is, so definitely more curd is more probiotic than, milk itself.
Thank you, sir. One last question, and this is slightly different. Now we have vegans growing, and they don't want to have milk from cows or buffaloes. They would like to have milk from plants. They would like to have, say, almond milk or plant milk. What is the size of that demand growing, and how do you look at that?
Great question, sir. So we do whatever customer wants us to do, sir. So that is how, as a business, we don't want to keep a large ego. If we see that plant-based milk is a large trend that is emerging, we would want to put some effort there, and we would want to do that as well, right? So milk, as nature intended to be, right, is a complete source of nutrition. It is produced by mother for its baby. So milk naturally has everything, that you need for survival. Even if you don't eat anything else, if you just drink milk, it has enough of everything for you to survive. And I think, the strong reason for people to go away from dairy into plant-based, one of the reasons is because of cruelty towards animals, right? In the West, dairy became a very, very large industry where, the animal, people were not taking care of the animals. The humanity of it was missing, right? So, I mean, if you look at, see what happens, right? It is not intentional right away. See, if you have 5 cows or 1 cow, the way you take care of it is you're much more gentler, you take care of it. If you have 100 cows, it is hard work taking care of an animal. It is not easy. They weigh 500 to 600 kgs. You have to give them a bath, once or twice a day. You have to take care of the calves, all of its needs. It's not easy. So if you have a lot more animals, you probably pull the calf a little more harder, right? Because it is hard work, right? So keeping the farm size small sometimes helps that way. That is why, we decided early on that we're not going to make our farm size too large, right? When you keep it small, this care and this part of it gets taken care of. India always did this, right? India always believed in integrated agriculture. We never had large farms. Animals were integrated part. They would eat the grass that we don't eat, right? So it was a part of a cyclical system that India always had, that intelligence we had, right? I think if you do that, you take care of your animals. I think that cruelty can be the one reason why people are gravitating towards it, is because they believe fundamentally, it is somebody else's milk. You should not be drinking it. There's cruelty inherently in it, right? But we can work on those things. We've always, did things the right way. And, but yeah, you have to, as a market, you have to watch the trend, right? If that is a big segment that our customers want, we should, we want to be doing it as well, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think you have, with a lot of patience, you have responded to all the questions based on your practices, based on your beliefs, based on your forecast, and everything with a smile, that you have very carefully, responded to all these questions. I want to thank you for this time that you have spent with us. You have shared your expertise. We are hugely grateful to you, sir. We will always look for opportunities to again connect with you and see if we can meet you at your open houses or request you to visit our campuses, which are open to entrepreneurs like you, people who have addressed problems, created new solutions, and are motivating youngsters and individuals to become entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs. I think we will definitely connect with you and take this forward, sir.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity, sir. It was wonderful, happy speaking to all of you and getting great, incisive, thoughtful questions. It was definitely also equally useful for me, going through the interaction. Thank you very much for the opportunity once again. Thank you.
Amazing, sir. Amazing. On this platform, earlier we have spoken to many entrepreneurs, and those entrepreneurs, like, for example, Mr. David Lobo of DJ Farms in Bengaluru, Mr. Uday from Tea Time. We have spoken to the founder of or the director of Nilofer Chai. We have spoken to Sahyadri Farms. All these people have focused on creating unit economics, that franchisee economics, and with that target they've been moving. If they are able to make a difference to the earnings per month from X to say 2x or 2.5x, I think they would define that as their success. I think entrepreneur after entrepreneur who have stayed focused on targeting and working closely to improve the tangible income of the franchisee have always created success stories on the ground for us to follow. The other thing is about the people that you mentioned. I think amazing that people are more important, and you be nice to people, they'll be doubly nice to you, and they'll stay motivated. I think it is said easier, but I think we need to use all our education and maturity to displaying how we can be nice to our own colleagues and how we can treat them properly, so that the respect is converted into energy, that motivation, and it helps the entire organization to move forward. And collectively, we are creating an enterprise that is addressing a very important cause. I think that's part of the DNA of your building this sustainable brand, sir. And the third and the most important thing is, you said that you did not have the sense of scale, but now scale is extremely important for business, and a large product strategy followed by matching the products that you have within that, distribution that can actually take care, scientifically, rationally, logically, value-wise. If we solve problems of the distribution, they will definitely be paying off for us. At ICFAI, our founder believed another very important thing is that scale is equal to branding.
Okay. Absolutely.
We launched about 170 business schools across the country at one point in time, and Dr. Prasad was head of handling that entire unit.
Super.
Taking quality education to the nook and corner of this country. With that motto, we launched 170 business schools, ICFAI national schools, national colleges. And we ran this program for a long time, and it was very, very successful. The movement of aspiration from a very corner kind of a city or a village. It's not a village, but it's a town. And converting those aspirations into careers is what we could really see. And Professor Prasad, he was sitting here so silently, patiently. He was the one who was handling that huge chain of business schools. 170 is not a small number.
Absolutely superb, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah. The other thing is that you mentioned that if people who can take responsibility are identified, I think that also helps. I think our founder had a knack of identifying people who had earlier taken responsibilities, people who have worked as entrepreneurs earlier, and then we have recruited them. One of them, Professor Prasad himself, was an entrepreneur before coming into ICFAI. I think there's a connect there. I'm only trying to connect between what you said and what we are actually doing. And another very important aspect is that throughout our journey in the last 4 decades, our founder did one very important aspect. ICFAI business schools, they were launched in 9 different cities on single day. One would always have doubts about how do we pay salary the next month. But then if there is a large format and a largeness in your launching, the trust also elicited. And with trust in education is extremely important. You need to be trusted very well. Absolutely. So scale was equal to branding according to him, which he demonstrated. And it is always true, more truer than ever. In businesses, scale is extremely important. Depth is also very, very beautifully, as you have nicely pointed out, depth is extremely important. The value addition and the value proposition that you create. Why should anyone write a check the moment you release an advertisement? It used to happen. It used to happen in ICFAI. Some of those distance learning programs that we offered, we used to mention, please raise a demand draft and so on this name. And then if you now look at those things, one would understand, will anybody look at the advertisement and write a demand draft? But then it happened. So a value proposition, if it is communicated in the right time, in the context in which you are, backed by a huge energy of backroom boys who are working on building this value proposition, I think the unsung heroes actually lie there. Absolutely. They are the people who are helping us to create that sales story. And then we figure it out that yes, it is saleable.
Yes.
So that magic happens when you have the support of these backroom boys with their energy to create the value proposition, and you communicate that effectively, and then you have a model ready. I think that's what we have gone through. Thank you so much for reminding us some of the things which are very good, workable, and some of the people who have joined around us in the screen, they can take away. They are also entrepreneurs. They are also working professionals from all streams. I'm sure this is highly valuable to them. And many of them who have missed this session on Facebook and also on this Zoom, they have a facility of going back to our archives and looking at this video as well as a text summary. We will prepare a text summary, sir. I request you to share your PPT. With the help of that, we'll prepare a summary. We'll route it through you. When you clear, we'll post it on our website for people to go there and learn. Continuous learning is a motto, and we believe in that. This is a non-commercial activity. We don't charge anyone. We also don't pay anyone. So learning is priceless. That's what we believe. And all the energy that we can bring in to make this happen with the help of people like you is actually priceless. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and energy and expertise.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please browse through SIDS Farm. SIDS Farm is a very interesting website and the value addition that they're creating. And also join one of those open houses. I am going to do it in a couple of weeks from now since I live in Hyderabad. But those who are in Hyderabad and Bangalore probably can try and do that. I exhort you and I urge you to do it and learn a little more. Some of the models and the frameworks are already listed on the website. It's a good website. Their social media is also very good, so it's easy for us to find out. Keep learning and keep coming back. November 15th, we have another great leader who is going to talk about what is the future of technology and what is the future of careers and future of this country itself. We have the co-founder of HCL talking, Dr. Ajay Chowdhury. So stay tuned. This is on 15th of November at 6 p.m. instead of 6:30. He requested for 6 p.m. And we will all be there to learn together. Till then, have a great weekend and good night.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.